Welcome to the Biz Help 101 show. This is episode 3. This is Dr. Brian Cochran, choosing your sales method for your product or service that you're going to take to market. Enjoy.
It's some type of widget that you are putting together that you're about to go to manufacturing and someday sell. And so how are you going to, part of you setting up your business structure is also setting up how you're going to sell that product. And so let's go through it. How will you be selling your product or service? And that's the question for today. So I can ask you, and so please, what are some of your ideas on selling your product or service? How are you going to sell it? Are you going to, how are you going to sell it? I'm not going to give it away, I'm just going to ask, and then we'll get into it.
You looking for answer?
Yeah.
Oh, by putting it out there, by advertising.
Not advertising. That's it. That's how people are going to come to you. So if you're going to open a brick and mortar, are you going to do some type of e-commerce? How are you going to sell the product or service that you're going to do it? So that's not bringing people to. You got to have a place to bring people to.
Oh, okay. You mean
So
like
that's
home or
right. If
building?
it's going to be home or building, if it's going to be online, if it's going to be what type of sales team, how you do, what all those things, all part of what we're going to be talking about this evening. So, how are we going to do that?
Social media.
That's marketing.
Oh, well,
That's marketing. That's the next part. That's good though. That's good. That's thinking. It's not a wrong answer. It's just that's the next process. We'll get
You
into that.
said something about e-commerce. Is that like a
Having a website that you sell the product on.
website.
so is that the same as
The e-commerce is the website is one part. The e-commerce portion is the actual mechanism that when a person wants to buy the product, it goes through a commerce in order to sell it. So just like you go to a grocery store, they have a cash register. So that cash register, when you take if you will use this book, if you take this book to the bookstore and take it to the register, they ring it up, right? And so that's considered e-commerce. So that's where you're actually doing business.
So would we say like from home or?
Okay, that's fine. That works. But also, are you going to be? Let's just get into it because I'm confusing you. All right.
I'm confused.
These are some of the basic sales models and ways that you're going to sell that you're going to possibly sell your business. Either if you're a product person, you're going to be a manufacturer. If you're going to manufacture it, are you going to manufacture only, or are you going to do something else? The next one is wholesale. Excuse me?
I was just saying wholesale.
Right. We're going to get to that in a second. I'll just kind of go over the list and then I'm going to break it down. The next one is wholesale. If you're going to wholesale it out, so say for instance you have a product that you're just going to wholesale it out, you're not going to retail it, then that's the next one. The third one is direct sales. So that's going to be actually how you're going to sell it. That's having a sales team, and we'll get into that in a second. Number 5 is affiliate marketing or affiliate sales or direct sales. That's I should have put that as B. As far as direct sales, that's a new category that is out today that is working really well. Are you going to franchise? So say for instance, are you going to buy a franchise or are you going to set up a franchise to be able to, so instead of you opening up more locations, and we'll get into that in a second. And then the next one is licensing. Are you going to license your product to someone else? And then we'll get into that. And we're going to break down each and every one of them. So that way you have an understanding of what each of them does. So as you start to put together your plan, which one is going to work for you, or what hybrid of one or two that you're going to use in order to sell or market your product or service. All right, number 1, manufacturer. As a manufacturer, this is more for a person that has a product. So say for instance, I'm going to use this sunglass, these eyeglasses. These eyeglasses, you're the one that manufactured this sunglass. So are you going to do a retail business with it, where you're going to have a store or online store, or are you going to wholesale it to someone else? So a wholesaler, which we'll get into in a second. So when you're setting up your business, you got to decide what you're going to do. So if you're manufacturing this product, am I just going to be a manufacturer, or am I going to retail it as well? Okay. So if you are the one that's producing the product, you are the manufacturer. Understand what that means?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Number 2, wholesale. So what happens is once this eyeglasses have been manufactured, what they have out there, like in downtown Los Angeles, New York has the most larger cities have, which are called wholesalers. What happens is you sell at a discounted rate You mark it up. So for instance, these eyeglasses, which I got from the dollar store. So, but we'll use this as a for instance. These eyeglasses, when they manufacture them, probably cost them 25 cents to make. So what they would do in turn would sell it to a wholesaler who would buy it at 25 cents. So at 50 cents. So the markup is 25 cents. So now you sell it to the wholesaler at 50 cents, and the wholesaler sells it to a retailer for a retail price, and they mark it up to whatever that price is that they deem right, or either you set a suggested retail price, or they can set whatever they want based upon that. So like in the dollar store, since again I bought it at the dollar store, so they sold them to a wholesaler for 50 cents, and then the wholesaler, then as we know, the dollar store sells for how much? $1. So you have to decide what part of that you want to be in. You know, when you're setting up your business of some type, you want to see what it is that you're doing. So either you're going to be a wholesaler, or you're going to be a retailer, or a combination of two, which is fine. Because you can also be you can be the manufacturer of the product, as well as wholesale it out to others. So that way you make a little bit larger margin, but you also have to have the staff, the employees, in order to make sure that you can handle the business to do it. Okay? Next, retail. So you have the manufacturer. The manufacturer is you, Tim. Brother Tim, you're the manufacturer. You manufacture these glasses. You sold them to Ona. Ona is the wholesaler. Ona now sells it to Elder for 50 cents. Elder sells them to all of us for $1.
Yeah.
Right? So, as you're setting up your company, you have to wonder or figure out which way you're going to do it. Some people do it all, like today, because of the internet, and we'll get into the internet probably next 2 weeks, we'll get into the internet. Because of how it is today, you can be the manufacturer and also be the retailer. And you can cut out those middlemen so you make all the money. But again, the challenge of doing that is what? What would you think some of the challenges would be if you're the manufacturer and the retailer?
A lot of work.
A lot of work, yes. Staffing, right? So that means you gotta have a large enough staff, or you have to be able to time it where you can actually handle it all by yourself. In most cases, if you're just starting something, then you can do, if you're a clothing company or you're doing the glasses, like those glasses came from China, so what they did was they had a manufacturer in China, brought a shipment over, put it in the warehouse. They found while it was being shipped over, they started finding wholesalers to purchase it, so that way by the time it got there, they shipped it to her, she then retailed it to him, he wholesaled it to him, then he turned around and retailed it to all of us. Okay? So the challenge of being a retailer and a manufacturer is that time, organization, staffing. So you may not want to do that, or you may want to do that based upon the vision that God has given you. Amen? Now, direct sales is a great way of selling your product. It's also called network marketing, or multi-level networking, or multi-level marketing as well. I like it because, remember we mentioned, I think I showed it last week, or a couple weeks ago, I showed the cash flow quadrant, and we're talking about, that you're a employee, then you're self-employed, then you're a business owner, which is on the right side of the cash flow quadrant, and then you're an investor. Well, the top one, business owner, is a person that does something called direct sales, network marketing, because now you are leveraging people to do the work for you. So that means that when you have these glasses, what you now do is, as you as the manufacturer of these glasses, you would wholesale them to someone that is a part of your network marketing company, or part of your company, that will actually go out and sell and do the marketing for you. So now you cut out the retail person, you cut out the middleman. Now the middleman becomes them. They actually go out and do the marketing for you. So what happens is, in network marketing, you go through your hot markets with your family and friends. You start with them, and then from then on, you go out and canvas and work to build your business. So it's your own business. So it's their own business. So it's almost like a glorified franchise, in a sense, where thank you. It's a glorified franchise where you don't own the company, but you own the product of the company. You represent the company. So the good part about that is you're leveraging people. How many wants to hire sales staff? Raise your hand if you want to hire sales staff. Okay, good. You're the only one. So I don't want to hire sales staff, because with sales staff comes with workman's comp, it comes with insurance, it comes with issues, it comes with problems. But the good part about network marketing is you're your own boss. You 1099 the person, and because they're their own boss, you don't have workman's comp. All you do is you 1099 them at the end of the year. They do their own taxes, and you can help them with those things, because we help our people. Because for us, the more successful a person is, the longer they're going to stay in the business. So we do a lot of other stuff that maybe other companies don't do. But leveraging other people is leveraging your, it's like you get twice as much work done with less effort, because all you do is you produced it, share the vision, write the vision, make it plain, and then you have others go out and sell it for you. So I really push network marketing a lot, because it's what, again, the cash flow quadrant, which Robert Kiyosaki talks about, and most wealthy people leverage people. So why not leverage people, right? Because if they love your concept and love your idea, then they're going to get behind it and sell it, right? The best form of advertising is what? Number one, word of mouth. So since word of mouth is the best form of advertising, then guess what? I remember back in the day, I was really young, and that's when Amway first came out, and they had this stuff called soap. And it worked, right? A friend of mine gave me a sample of the soap. Sound familiar? Tried the soap, and my clothes got cleaner. And at that time, Tide was like the #1 back then. Tide was the #1, and with Cheer or somebody else was out like that. But here this is, a company that you never heard of except a person telling me about. So since we know and understand that word of mouth is the best form of advertising, this gives you an opportunity, because if your product is great and you believe in it, then you can get others to believe in it, as the Bible talks about, write the vision and make it plain. That they that read it can do what? Take it and what? And run with it. So they'll take the vision and run with it, and you don't have to pay a sales staff. You give them a nice commission, and then you help them build an army to go out and help you do it. Amen? And the next one is affiliate marketing. And this is something that is really big right now on the internet. And affiliate marketing is, in network marketing, there's a lot more rules and regulations. And you've heard a lot of folks that have, going back to before I go into affiliate marketing, several years ago, several companies got closed down because they considered a pyramid scheme, right? Because they didn't have a product or service that they were selling. So if you set up a network marketing company, you have to have a product, number one, okay? And so with the direct sales industry, there's some you got to have an attorney, there's some certain things you got to do. But the best thing about it is you can build an army of 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people that are selling your product. You look at Amway. Amway is probably the largest organization. Are they the best? No. But they've been around the longest. They do have great products, and they have a lot of folks that love the products and selling it all day long. And the cool part about it is that they're buying these. The cool part about network marketing is that they got to buy into the company. So they pay a fee to get in, so they're paying almost like a franchise without the expense, is that they're buying into the company, and you go, whoa, if you can get 1,000 people to pay you $200, or $10 a month, or $20 a month, that's really a lot of money. And that's not, and that's, just like Ona, and some of you are into, Gano Coffee. Well, Gano Coffee has something called what? Auto ship. So you pay to get into Gano Coffee, first and foremost, and then you have to, in order to stay in compliance with being a person that's a franchise holder or owner of your own personal business, then you gotta buy X amount of product a month, right? No, in most you do. It's because auto ship is automatically shipping, but maybe not with them, but some of the companies do. But you still have to buy product, or should be buying product, right? And so they say get higher your own supply and all that good stuff, which is the truth. You want to drink the coffee because it actually does work, and it actually is good. But to get somebody to buy in for you, just like buying a franchise, is perfect, because a lot of people don't want to think. They don't have the capabilities of understanding how to build a business, or even start a business, or start a concept. So you need a person that has the ability, that has the tenacity and the desire to go out and sell, and then all you do is give them the tools to go out and sell it, and give them the product to sell, and they bring you back the money by buying more product. Affiliate marketing is the same concept, except there's less people in it. Because what happens with affiliate marketing, there's a ton, if you look now, there's millions of affiliate companies out there now online. And so what happened is online, you got a product or service, the same thing with network marketing, but without having having the restrictions that you would with network marketing. So that means that you can go, in network marketing, you can go infinity down as far as the downline. And you know what a downline is? When you go through that, you know what it is. Pretty much know what it is. Okay, well, for those that don't know, a downline is building a team. You start with you, and then you're supposed to get either 2 or 3 people in your initial line, and then you build until it's something. It looks like a pyramid. That's why I call it a pyramid scheme. So you have this army of people under you that you make residual income over all these people, right? So that's what's called a downline. In affiliate marketing, you can only go 5 wide and 5 deep, and then you drop off, because after you go down to that 5th level, then you have to pay the fees and get the fees in order to, and the licensing in order to be a full-fledged network marketing company. So what everybody started doing is, with affiliate marketing, you don't charge anybody to get into it in some cases, and some people do, based upon whatever your business model is. And then it's the same concept as network marketing, but the percentages are smaller because they're not buying in as great as they do in a network marketing company. But again, at the same time, if it's a product that somebody has and you just want to have some extra sales, then you can still do your regular sales by having a sales team, and then have some affiliates out there selling for you as well. So that way you have a combination of both. Because of multiple streams of income, you got to come in from both ways. So I have something that we've set up, which is a hybrid of affiliate marketing, because our whole goal is to someday become a network marketing company. But because I didn't have the finances nor the team to do it at the time, I started with affiliate marketing because of the way our software was set up. Then I can just have our guy go in and just to make some minor changes and go on to the next level. But I found that affiliate marketing is, because you can charge less and you still get the same response, it's easier for a person to get involved with that than with network marketing. Usually it tends to cost you more money to be in network marketing, because it's actually buying your own business versus being affiliated with a company. Affiliation, you just mean you're affiliated with them and don't have really like in Ghana, it's your own company. You're just selling the product. You can sell a bunch of affiliate products that you can sell, and a person can take on yours and sell yours as well as theirs and everybody else's at the same time. But usually what happens is with network marketing, everything is about that product or service that you're working. Amen? Next one, franchising. If you're going to set up a franchise. And a franchise is a little bit more technical, but it's a way of doing business. It's like McDonald's. Excuse me. McDonald's set up a system. I think I shared the story of McDonald's on the very first class. McDonald's started in San Bernardino, and the McDonald's brothers had revolutionized fast food. So they came up with the concept of to do fast food. And so Ray Kroc, who was the founder of McDonald's franchises, because at the time he was selling shake machines. Here, McDonald's brothers here in San Bernardino, and nothing's in San Bernardino, buying 6 shake machines. He's like, who was buying 6 shake machines? So he wanted to go and see who this was. Fell in love with the concept, saw the possibilities of taking this and duplicating it. So what they did was they built a system that they replicated, and you buy into the system. But it's a lot more money, and the percentages are less, but there's no thinking. Everything is done for the person, and it's a great way of you getting residual income. So now you have, for each location, you get 10, 15, 20% based upon whatever you guys negotiate. And at the same time, the franchise fee could be like McDonald's, it's over $1 million. So they pay you $1 million, you go through McDonald's University, you go through all this training to learn their system. You can't do any other system but their system. But the good part about it is, in you doing that, you've taken the guesswork out, and so that way you have a qualified sales team that's bought into you, because they paid the franchise fee. Then you help them with the marketing promotions, you help them with finding locations, you help them do everything, and they're glorified, basically the managers of the business, and you get a small percentage. So in setting up a business, that's also a concept and an idea that's being done all the time, and they deregulated where before you had to have 6 stores, you don't have to do that anymore. You have to have like $400,000 worth of assets, and there's some other stuff, and we'll go into if we get into that. You have to have several things that you have to have in place in order to do a franchise. But before, you had to have 6 locations before you even qualify. But it's no longer that way. You can do it with one. You look at Fatburger. Fatburger is a franchise, and they're doing extremely well. They had to revamp. They got a new owner. A new CEO that came in, and they're doing gangbusters now, because the concept is a great product, but their sales and employees, and they had some issues with that. So they came back in, redid it, sent it back out, and now people are buying franchise. I have a couple of friends that have a couple of one in Rancho and one down in Corona. And they got
And the
another
one in
door.
Pomona is not doing well at all.
And they just reopened it. They closed it and reopened
It's
it.
terrible still,
Right, right. And again, location.
the location.
Right, and so they chose North Gary versus going down on Holt. If they'd have been on Holt or on Foothill, they'd have done better.
Yeah.
Or gone on the or because
Yeah.
you could go to Rancho,
You
you
ain't
go on the
gonna
Rancho. So, but yeah, that part of town is really slow. So franchising as a possible sales mechanism is a great way of doing it as well. And so I'm giving you these so that way, as you're deciding what your business model is going to be, you need to know how you're going to sell your product. And what the goal is. If you're gonna afford to hire a sales team, then great. Then hire a sales team. But these other ways, it takes a little bit more work on your part up front. But once the system's in place, then all it is finding a person like myself that can stand up in front of people and give a presentation about how great the product is and how great the service is and get paid. Because every time a person joins, you get paid, that person gets paid, and everybody wins. So now you've gotten, how many locations can you have? Because not just here could be doing it, you could be all over the world doing it because you're not limited to any geographic area, you just need the people. So once you teach them the system, just like in a franchise, you teach them the system, but they get it for less money, then using network marketing or affiliate marketing will work for you at the same time. All right, the next one. Licensing your intellectual product or property, product or service. Right, and that's the next one, because what happens is, if we all watch Shark Tank, right? And so Mr. Wonderful, what does he always talk about doing? What does Mr. Wonderful always talk about doing?
Licensing.
Always talk about licensing. And why does he always talk about licensing?
Make money and walk away from it and get residuals.
There you go. And what are you gonna say?
Nobody can steal your ideas. So that's more.
Well, that's true, because what happens is, in order to license something, you need to own your intellectual property. So that means that you have to either do a trademark or patent. In their case, if it's a name, it's a trademark. If it's a product, it's a what? Patent. There we go. So when you notice, they always ask this question, it's for Shark Tank. Do you have a patent? Do you have a provisional patent, or do you actually have a patent? Because there's two different things. A provisional patent is based upon, they give you, it's like a temporary patent until they do the rest of the search. They'll find out if that product or that product is actually, nobody else has it. So they're always looking for a full-fledged patent, and then they always talk about going to someone else and license it. Why? Because if you don't have the finances to do it, if you don't have the sales staff to do it, you just have a concept and you've taken it this far, and you don't even have a prototype. You just have you have a patent on it. And in order to get a patent, you got to do what is called a mechanical drawing. And so when you do those two things, then you can take that and sell it all day long. And all you do is you give a manufacturer the right to use your product and pay you what is called a royalty on every piece of product that is sold. And in some cases, they'll give you front money depending on the deal, and others is based upon sales. But what happens is, in licensing, you're utilizing their expertise, their distribution, their sales model, their marketing in order to build your business. And you take a small percentage. So if you're an inventor, how many more inventions can you come up with?
A lot.
Right. Because God's given you the ability to get wealth to establish covenant, right? So since He's given you the ability, once you've learned the process, it's easy to see something. I had a lady call me yesterday on a product that you would think is like, why hadn't somebody else thought of that? Right? So I said, okay, I'm gonna send over non-disclosure, so that way, if somebody else happens to do it before we take it to market, you can't go back and get me, because I didn't say nothing. Right? So we talked about that last week. So we talked about, Elder was talking about some stuff, and I said, oh, stop. Right? Protect your intellectual property, because that is your birthright. And so with that, you license it. Get a non-disclosure, then you can talk about it. Then a non-disclosure says that you will not disclose the information that I'm telling you to give it to anybody else, right? Or say it to somebody else, or a non-compete that you can't do it either if it doesn't work, right? So licensing your product, this is only for products because it won't work with a service. You can license your product to somebody else, and again, they become your sales team. They become your distribution, they become your manufacturer, and you just sit back and get paid. It's a small percentage, but if they sell, we talked about that the other day, if they sell 1 million and you get 10 cents, right? That's not a bad paycheck for not doing anything, and they did all the work. And then it goes, and it could be 1 million, it could be 10 million, it could be 20 million, it could be $1 per, it could be whatever, based upon whatever you negotiate. And you have, and I'm going to suggest, just like they talk about on Shark World, they don't as much as they should, is having an attorney. Have a good attorney that goes with you, so that way they protect you. Because I think I shared the story about Famous Amos. Did I share the story? Right? Did everybody heard the story before? I guess not. To leave me like I'm crazy. Okay, Famous Amos he was the manufacturer of Famous Amos cookies. They're the ones you see in the grocery store. Well, prior to him getting into the grocery stores, he had a spot in Hollywood. And then Hollywood, I don't remember if it's either Sunset or, I think it was Hollywood Boulevard. Or was it Sunset? One of the, Hollywood Boulevard. And so you would go out there and you would order, you would get a couple dozen cookies and, and great experience and good cookies. Well, somebody came to him, a manufacturer came to him and offered to take his cookies global. Right? So he said, man, great opportunity. I'll be at every grocery store. My face is going to be on everything. I'm going to be branded. I'm going to be a household word. And he went on and did it, right? What he didn't do was take a good attorney. So what ended up happening was, because he was a CEO at one time of his company, but who owns the stock owns the company and controls the company. He took a minority position in the company, which wasn't a bad deal, but what he didn't understand was that he sold his intellectual property to the manufacturer. And so what they ended up doing was, they ended up firing him as CEO. So yeah, he still collected royalty checks, but the problem is that he could not use his face or his name because he sold it was part of the package. And so you don't want to sell your intellectual property in the deal. Sorry?
And his recipe.
Right, and his recipe. Right.
Which is the most important.
Right. Exactly. There's another person, have you heard of Prince? The artist known Prince. You've heard of him? Purple, yeah, exactly. Well, Prince is another person that here he is, a mega star, was on Warner Brothers at the time. He finally started learning the business. He started taking the business more serious, and he realized that he was getting a bad deal, that they were making more money than he was. And so he wanted to get, when his contract was up that him as an artist was released, but they still owned his name and his merchandise. So that's why for 5 years he went around going formerly known as, or the sign, because when he left, he couldn't take his name. So it's important for us to understand that the name is synonymous with you and the brand. So you have to make sure you protect yourself so that way nobody else can get you unless you allow it to happen. Because he was an artist, and I use this story all the time when I work with music artists, because he was so busy being an artist, he didn't think about the business. Hello, somebody. And so that's why you're in this class, and so that we understand there's a way that seems right that leads to death of your business, your concept, your intellectual property, your birthright. And so what you have to understand is that when you go into business, your name is you. So the first amount of money that you get, work on trademarking your name. If it starts to grow, because what happens is we'll normally get either a DBA or we'll get a corporation. Well, a DBA and a corporation is only countywide for the DBA, statewide with your corporation. Federal is something entirely different, which is national. And so you need to trademark your name so that way no one else can use your name, no one else can use your concept at that time. So the first steps are, as you start to make money, state first, because no one knows. I mean, and what changes the game now is that as soon as you put it on the website, then you're now global. So someone can take it, if you don't protect your intellectual property, protect your concept, somebody in another state can use your same name. I got a church in, it's on the East Coast. Guess what the name of it is? Anointed Christian Ministries. Right? And because all I did was state, there's nothing I can do about it. I can show that I've been around longer. I can show all those things, but because I did not trademark, I can use me as a perfect example. So since I didn't protect my own intellectual property, someone else in another state was able to take my name. and use my name. How you like me now? So now our church is Anointed Christian Ministries International. So that way, so we're in the process of trademarking our name. So that way, as our ministry grows, then nobody else can use my name unless I allow them to. Then I can do a cease and desist and get them to change their name. If not, I can seize bank accounts and all this other stuff, get my attorney and stick them on them, and so forth. So the good thing about Brian is I made a ton of mistakes that I can share. That way, you don't have to go down that road. So as you start your business, you be mindful. That should be part of your list of to-dos, that as we get to our first whatever amount, because it's going to cost you to trademark pretty close to $1,000 to trademark. By the time you have an attorney to look for it all and everything. So after you make X amount of dollars, you start putting money away, work on trademarking your name. So that way you protect it. If it's a product, make sure you whatever that widget is, I tell folks to do a poor man copyright to start, which is, how many know what a poor man copyright is?
Would it be notary?
A poor man copyright is where you take whatever it is, you put it into an envelope. So if it's a recipe, if it's some type of drawing, some type of product that you're building, that drawing, the name, the concept, you put it into an envelope and certify, mail it to yourself. Never open it until you have to go to court. So and you allow the judge, because when it goes through the mail, it's become what? Federal. Right? So if you don't open it and it stays sealed, you certify it to yourself, and then you just put it away. Put it into if you have a lockbox of some kind, you just put it away. So if you ever need it, then you can pull it up for that purpose. For proof.
Excuse me. Whichever group the leads last, it's called a
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, make sure, I can't harp on this enough. I can share other stories of folks, because of my ignorance, getting beat. I beat myself a bunch of times because no one's going to get my name, no one's going to get my concept. I've had folks, So make sure, that's why I put this last, is make sure you build yourself into your budget, that you may not have the money up front, but protect yourself, protect yourself, protect yourself. Make sure you also get a website and buy the URL or the .com of the name of the concept of what you're doing. So that way they can't, again, because I've had that happen to me. I did something called Church Got Talent. And I was doing this event, I grabbed the .com for it, and then when I stopped doing it, for some stupid reason I let it expire. Instead of just paying a little $6 or $9 or $12, whatever it was, to pay the fee just to keep it and just hold on to it. And then I decided that, oh man, we're going to do this we're going to start it back up again, and got a new team, we'll go out for it, try to go get the name again. Guess how much they wanted for that name? $2,400. That's something I paid, what, $11 for, or $6 for, whatever. And so,
What made the price increase?
demand. If I don't want to pay it, then I wouldn't. And see, what happens is, that's a whole business, just so you know, that's a whole business by itself. How much you think if someone would have bought McDonald's or Nike name first? How much you think they would pay for that name? Especially when .coms was the first thing that came out, they would have paid anything for it. They would have paid everything for it. Because when the internet first got started, .com was the one. You still want a .com, because automatically when you first think about it, is ABC.com. Automatically. And then you have to make a decision to go, oh no, it's .net, or no, it's .biz, or it's .org, it's .co, or .wo, or whatever. So .com was the first one that came out. So again, faith come by hearing, hearing by the word of God. But the same thing, when your person is going to look for something in the search engines, they're going to automatically, what happens also in the search engine too, when you start putting up the name, and you put .com comes first in the search engines as well. So if you have the .com, then one, that makes it easier for you later on, and two, hold on to it. Even if your business or your business not together yet, secure the .com. Secure it. Because that way, yes sir.
Sometimes they take you to the same site.
Right.
.org or it's .com.
Well, yeah, because you can buy it, because what happens, like myself, I have AnointedChristianMinistries.com, and then what I ended up doing was ACMII.com. So either one they go to, because what happened was when I realized what I did, I said, let me keep it, because what happens is most folks, when you get the .com, they're not going to do the .biz, the .org, unless you're a church, then you do the .org, because with organization, when they should get the .com, because then no one's going to touch the .org or whatever, because you're branding for them. right? Because I've done that before too, where I have a company called, or part of one of our divisions is called financebuilders.biz. So what do you think people go first? Right. And by sneaking by, and I didn't know, I know now, so I'm going to end up changing the name, but because I've been branding for somebody else. So don't do it. Make sure you get the .com first, because now, since I got the .coms, nobody else is going to take the other ones because they understand the concept now, because the internet's been out a little bit longer.
So
than it has been
are you
before.
talking about domain name?
Yeah, domain name, or URL. Yeah, domain name. And so you can go to our site and we got those as well. So, protect yourself. All right, let's get into next. Are we all clear on that? So your let me go back. Your homework assignment for next week is determine what is going to be your sales method. How you are going to take your business to market. If it's going to be wholesale, if it's going to be retail, if it's going to be a hybrid of both. If you're going to do a franchise, set of franchises. What is going to be your business model as far as you selling your product or service? That's your homework. So we talk about it next week.
Determine what.
Maybe
is
2 weeks.
your what?
Excuse me?
You said determine what is your sales method?
Your sales method. How are you going to sell your product or service? Are you going to have a retail store? Are you going to all those different things I just went through? How are you going to do it? Are you going to hire a sales team, which I didn't put on there because that's self-explanatory. Most of us know that they're automatic. You got to sell it. So either you're the sales team or you hire somebody. So that's why I was showing network marketing, affiliate marketing as a way to selling. So that way you understand the concept. If you want more details, it's on our book and it's also on our website and it's also on on the internet as well. You're learning all those different things of how to sell it, how the network marketing set up, and how affiliate marketing works. But I would suggest that you at least, no matter what you do, if you're going to have an e-commerce site online, that I would suggest you also include some type of affiliate marketing, because it's a great way of not having to hire a sales team. And it's cheap because it doesn't cost you anything to do it. Where network marketing is going to cost you some money up front to do it. Amen? All right. Do you have any questions before I go any forward? We're all good? All right. Determine where the money will come from. There are 3 basic ways to finance or start your startup costs. You can use your own money, you can obtain a loan, or find investors. Right? If possible, it is better to start small and use your, and this is something that the textbook says, but I believe in OPM, but I needed to put it there anyway because and there's 2 reasons why. This next, let me read it, and then I'm going to kind of explain why I put it there, and then my other thought about it as well. If possible, it is better for you to start small, use your own savings, and not worry about repaying a debt. Because sometimes until you get your system put together, then you can lose, but you don't want somebody else to lose until you understand exactly what you're doing. I put that there for that reason, but I also believe that others aren't going to, if you notice on Shark Tank, how many times have they asked the question, how much money do you have in it? They ask it every person.
Always.
Yeah, they always ask that question because if you don't have no skin in the game, then why should they invest? If you don't believe in you, then why should I? So that's why that's there. It's so that we understand that if you don't put any skin in the game, regardless of how good the concept is, if you're not willing to take the risk, why should they? So if you have some money into the game, some money into your business, and say, look, all I had was $1,000. Okay, at least that's all you had and you invested that, right? Or all I have is $100, whatever it is, at least you took the time to invest that. But if you do the homework first and do the things that we're talking about first, then it lessens the chance of failure anyway. Not saying that everything is guaranteed, because nothing is guaranteed but Jesus, right? And that we're going to die and live with him when we saved. And if you're not saved, you're going to hell. Right? So that's the only thing we know is a certainty. So other than that, how are you going to raise money? And that's important for you to start putting that down on your list, because if you don't know, then how are you going to get started? Right? We have some stuff that we talk about with starting certain type of businesses with no money, but if you're building a widget of some kind, it's going to cost you some money. There's no way around it. Amen? All right. You need to gather information. Again, you're going to see me say there's a lot. Gather information. Spend a few weeks researching home-based businesses. Unless you're going to go in, because again, this course was based upon home-based businesses. And if you're going to open a retail, it goes back to based upon whatever your sales model is going to be, it's based upon how you're going to do it. So this class was actually set up for home-based businesses, but it's the same thing. We're going to open a retail business, location. Ona and I we're just kind of talking about a restaurant around the corner, not too far in downtown Pomona, and she was saying how busy they were, but it's not the best location. And because it's not the best location, could always do better, right? Because why do you think McDonald's wouldn't go on First Street?
Cars can't get there.
Right. So just that alone. So if you're gonna open up a retail store, why do you think there is a McDonald's in one corner, Burger King in another corner, Jack in the Box in another corner, and In-N-Out on the other corner in Southern California?
You're gonna stop there first of all, and there's lights there, so you're gonna stop and
Right.
where you wanna go to.
Awesome. And keep going. Keep going.
Like I say they're very accessible. You're gonna go to one of those four.
Right. So there's a synergy, and that synergy is that when you're looking, so like for me, I'm a perfect example. I'm not a Burger King guy, right? So my wife likes Burger King. I'll eat any of the other ones but Burger King. So I'll go across the street. So while she's getting Burger King, I'll walk across the street. Right. Okay. So exactly. We all have certain burgers that we don't like. So, but you'll find just like gas stations. So you would think that there's, Chevron on one corner, AMPM, which is Arco on the other corner. There's a synergy. So they come around each other because of the flow of traffic. That you want gas, they're either for Chevron or Shell, they're a premium product, right? So certain cars can't use Arco, right? Like my best friend's got a 2002 Ford truck. He can't put Arco in it. I got a 2002 Jeep Cherokee that I can put anything in it I want. I can almost put water in it, it'll run. So based upon the kind of car is based upon the kind of gas. So again, being around some place where the traffic is important. Why do you think malls are so successful? Traffic. So what happens is they bring everybody there and you can pick and choose where you want to go. So when you're choosing a location, I made the mistake of, like I said again, I can always use me. I made the mistake of opening up, like, man, I'm going to do all this marketing and promotion, and folks don't come because I'm Brian Cochran. Open the doors and twiddling my thumbs, going where other people, right? And not driving by the kid, like when I first opened my third nightclub, it was on 2nd Street. Back then, on 2nd Street in 1995, nobody was in downtown Pomona. But because the building was a great sized building, the rent was right, and I'm doing something that nobody else was doing in Pomona at the time, and I'm thinking that that's going to be everything, that my business is going to just flourish, just be about opening the doors, but my reputation of who I was and all this stuff. Open the doors, and it's about like the church is right now. Nobody came, nobody in there. And I had the doors open. I was open for business, right? So location is everything if you're setting up some type of retail store. And if you're doing an online business, name. You want something that people can remember. I share a story, and I did do the research up front. I have this company. I have a music division because I'm in the entertainment business, and I do this music stuff, right? So I like working with recording artists because they need a better break than they've been getting, because most of the time they sign a record deal, they get a bad deal, they don't make any money. And so I called it, because I teach entrepreneurship, I was in the music business, I call it musicpreneur, right? So guess what? I called my friend, and he's a Chicano rapper and has a record label, doing real well, and I was sharing with him about my vision of how I'm going to do this, and then he says, look, my Cholo friends can't even spell entrepreneurs. How do they spell musicpreneur? I go, wow, and I didn't think about that, because in my heart, in my vision, I'm like, man, it's a great concept. I can brand the name, and it'll be great, and people will know that it's music entrepreneurship and teaching people the music business. Got the vision, got the the .com, and guess what? I was wondering why nobody came.
Nobody can.
So I
Just when you type it in on Google, it fills it in for you if you can't spell.
It only fills it in it only fills it in if you rank. And you can't rank unless people are coming to the site. And so nobody comes to the site, so I didn't rank. So guess what? It never came up. So what I ended up doing is, iPad is real big. The I thing is real big. So I changed the name to iMusic Boss, and it stands for I want to be a music boss. So shortened it up, imusicboss.com, and folks can find me, and we're doing business because I didn't do the research on the name. So yeah, maybe a great concept and a great idea, but do the research before you actually launch it, because if nobody can find you, then a lot of the money that you've invested, no matter how big or how small, people can't find you, then they can't buy the product or service that you're offering. Okay? Amen? So, libraries, bookstores, and numerous other books on business basics. I'm a learner. I pick up books. I go to the library all the time. Actually, that's a lie. I go to the bookstore all the time. And now, because of the internet, I do all my studying on. This is my best friend, because I can take my time, and anytime I want to, I can do the research on whatever it is I'm trying to learn. Like right now, I think I've taught you. I mentioned a couple weeks ago, we're in the process of launching a TV station, and so I'm learning about everything about internet TV, because when I launch, I don't want to waste my money or waste my time. So right now, in my free time as an entrepreneur, I can take a moment. I got an iPad, I got a phone. I can just, let me look how they're doing this, how they're doing that, and make some phone calls and some emails on how you do this and so on and so forth. So by the time I launch, I have a lesser chance of failure and a greater chance of success, because all are getting what? Get a understanding. So if you have product knowledge about your product, you have a product knowledge about who your competition is and what you're trying to do, guess what? You have a greater chance of success. Amen? The Bible says our people perish with what? That's right. And without a vision, our people perish as well, right? So they both are synonymous, because if you don't understand the vision, because God will give you, the cool part about it is God will give you a vision. And then it's your job to do what? Walk it out, as the secular song says. But it's your job to do the work, right? He's not going to do it for you, otherwise you don't need us. But he's given us the ability to get wealth. He's given us the ability to do business. He's given us the understanding of how to do business. Now we have to take and learn and know it better than anybody else. Because who can sell it better than you? Nobody, right? So the more you know, if you're setting up even with if you're doing a sales team, then guess what? You still have to explain it to them. So you have to know the inner workings of the business, so that way you can teach them to know more than you, so that way they can do greater works than you. Because they have the time to do it and the talent to do it, because that's why they come on board, because they see the opportunity that they can make money with you. Amen? All right. Choose a mailing address. And this is more for, because we help people to set up corporations and to go after funding that we used to be able to, and that we can't do it anymore because they got wise about it. We used to help them set up, go to UPS stores and set up a mailing address at a UPS store. And so that way, at a UPS store, it's like a physical address. It'd be ABC or 777.
The physical address.
There's a physical address.
Suite 102.
Right, exactly. So it used to be able to get away with it. But banks are doing now, they'll send people out to go look at your site, right? So a mailing address, if you're going after funding, very important. If you're not going after funding, tech businesses, it doesn't matter, because if you look at Apple and Windows and all the other companies, they start in the garage. But because it's tech, it's online. But if you're actually launching a product of some kind, then I think I talked about a couple weeks ago about getting in what is called an executive office. An executive office, you could pay a couple dollars a month, and it's a physical address, but you never have to use the office. Just use a mailing address. If you're trying to go after funding. If you're not going after funding, don't worry about it. This is more for, if you plan on using the funding, as we're going to talk about in a couple minutes, ways, which I went too fast, I should probably go back. Ways of getting funding, you need a physical address. But home-based businesses, if you're just doing a home-based business, then you don't have to worry about it. You can use your home as the address, which has great tax benefits, because of using your home address, taking a room and designating it as a location where your business is, then you can write that room off. Amen? As well as a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Have any questions?
I have a question, okay. The word viral, what helps your product, what helps something go viral? Like on YouTube, they have all these videos that go viral, and all of a sudden, you got all these hits of 1 million. So what would assist in something going viral, like for your product?
The easiest way to put it is word of mouth. What happens is, I like it, I like the video, so I send it to Elder. Elder sends it to Pastor. Pastor sends it to you, and it goes all the way around the room. And that's going viral. Without you doing anything, it takes on a form of its own. It takes off, it goes on its own.
Do people get paid for that?
YouTube?
Uh-huh.
Yes. And when we get into the internet, that's why we're doing what we're about to do. And I'll get into that another time. But yes, you can make money on YouTube.
And
Yes.
then there's another question, you said something about using your name, like the name of your company. Like when I go on a search and I'm looking for something online, I look for keywords like ultimate and maximum and the best.
Okay.
And so that helps me to like narrow it down to get the product. You know,
Okay.
the number one product.
So does that make it number one because of person? Because what happens is,
Oh, I just said that's
and I'm
what-
gonna say this real quick, and then when we get into the internet, and I'll go through all that because it's something called SEO, which is site optimization, right? So what happens is, you said you're looking for a keyword, so you have
Okay, let me rephrase. A keyword to help bring out the product that I'm looking for, just to look for specific products.
right.
Not, it doesn't have to necessarily entail that in the.
It doesn't have to be the URL, but let me explain what I'm about to say. So that when because you asked this, let me explain it because I already got it. So what happens is that what the search engines do is they have something called electronic spiders, and electronic spiders looks for keywords. So if your product is on fitness, so you put in fitness, ultimate, 24 hours, lose weight, get in shape, or whatever, it sends out these spiders through the world, or actually United States, or to the United States for Google in US. So what happens is it sends out these spiders to look for those keywords. So based upon those keywords, and then what happens is they look for the keyword, and then the second thing would be it looks for where else is that website URL is it on other sites. So there's a couple different things that happens that these spiders look for. So if you're on 1,000 different sites, it doesn't mean it's the best product, but because you're on 1,000 different sites and you have the keywords, you rate higher in Google. Right? That's why you find people, that's why blogging became so big and articles became so big, is because you would attach your information at the bottom of it with your URL. You would put it on a whole bunch of websites, so that way when people are looking for your name, your content, and usually the articles that you're going to write are going to be around the subject matter of your expertise, of the product or service that you're selling. And so because of that, it brings it up into the search engine because you have the keywords that it's looking for. So you said ultimate and so forth. So the folks that know how to do websites, they make sure those keywords are in what is called a meta tag. And the meta tag will, again, that's why I said I don't want to get into all that right now because it's a whole long, there's a lot to it. So when we get into the internet part of the class, then I'll go through all that so that way you'll have a better understanding. So anyway, one thing I want to talk about, are we clear, kind of sort of clear on that, and I'll go into more detail in a couple weeks, is that okay? Because I don't want to go too deep in it because it opens up a whole other can of worms.
Well, you just kind of answered the basic question.
Okay, good.
Just the basic.
Okay,
We can
good.
get more into detail because I want you to expound on it if you.
It's actually in there, and it's all in. We'll go in the class,
Okay.
so that we'll get it. All right. I want to go back into funding because I didn't talk about that. It's how you get the money. I kind of jumped off, and I thought I'd set up some other slides. Again, I said there's three basic ways of getting funding. One, you use your own money. Two, you go after the bank's money. Or three, you go after investors. So the reason that I'm having you do business plans is that if you go after your own money, you don't have to have a business plan, right? Because it's you. You believe in you, you're going to invest in you regardless if you have a plan or not. Investors, if it's called an angel investor is someone that invests in businesses based upon the type of business it is and the business plan that you have and your ability to be able to do what you say you can do, which is different than a bank. Traditionally, we would go to a bank, we would get an SBA loan, which is a Small Business Association Administration. You can get a loan through them, and those are all what is called collateralized. That means that you got to put up some real property of some kind. It's either a house or something worth value in order to get the money. So that's one of the hardest because some of us don't have enough equity in the house to get it because it's based upon equity in your home and so forth. There's a bunch of criteria that comes along with it. So most of us don't qualify for that. So I very rarely ever talk about that one because that's what's probably the hardest to get money from. What you can do is something where I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Get a corporation. Let me finish this one part. You get a corporation and you can get money through your corporation because the corporation is its own person. It has its own what's called a EIN, which is its own social security number that you build up credit just you do personally to be able to go get the funding. So now you build up your corporation, and based upon the corporation, and it's a little bit different now, and we'll get into the financing part of the real financing part of the whole seminar, whole class on that, and then I'll go into more detail. But technically, you can use your corporation to be able to get the money, right? To go to a bank, go to a lender of some kind, and you can get the money. The third one is also called now it's called, you might want to write this down, called, you probably hear it a lot on, if you're watching the business channel, called crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is huge. Crowd, C-R-O-W-D, funding. And there are tons of websites out there. You can go to our website and pull up crowdfunding, and then they'll pull up some articles on that I just posted just recently on some very good crowdfunders. What happens is, so crowdfunding is awesome because what happens is you don't have the money to go to a bank, you don't have the credit to go to a bank, you need the money. So what crowdfunding does is they built a website that you post your business concept with your business plan, and if people like it, they give you money, right? And so you give them a percentage based upon the different websites. You do it different ways, but it's incredible because Joe Blow can invest in your company you never met him. And so they either promise funds or they give you actual gift funds based upon whichever the website is. But crowdfunding is huge. I would use it. Yes, ma'am.
Can you use that under a nonprofit?
Yeah, because they have causes. So that's what they have certain websites for causes where you're going to donate the money to a nonprofit. So yes, absolutely. So they're not looking for a return. See, with crowdfunding, they're looking for a return. They're investing in your business in most cases. So they do have websites for nonprofits where you believe in it, you put your cause up and we're looking for donations, and so based upon that, they'll invest or they'll donate the money for a nonprofit. Yes, absolutely. So I will write that down, do some research, called crowdfunding if you're looking for funding for a business. And that's probably today one of the fastest ways. Again, as I said earlier, I have Roku now, right? And Roku is this.
What's Roku? You lost me already.
Okay. Wow. You can get on the internet and you want to go there. Roku is this little box. See, if you notice, you have one in here, flat screen TV, right? That's like up front. They're not TVs anymore. They're monitors. You have to put something in it. Before, back in the day, TV set was able to receive something based upon the antennas, or even not having an antenna, it would receive something because the antenna's inside. Well, today, they're no longer TV sets, they are called monitors, or flat screen TV, flat screens, or flat screen TV. So you have to plug something into it. Well, the reason they invented that is because they knew that the internet is going to be the giant that it is today. So what happens is that normally what would happen is that you would have to plug this computer with an HDMI cable or USB, depending on the type of flat screen you had, and that will give the signal. So if you had a broadband card or
you have a smart TV.
Or smart TV, right? Okay, let's just smart TV. So what happens is, based upon that, thank you for that because I just reminded me of something else. So based upon that, then you can actually watch TV through your monitor. What Roku? Remember Web TV?
Yeah.
Ever heard of Web TV? Okay, they had this little box. This little box took in the internet signal and ran into your TV set so you can actually watch the internet on TV. Roku is one of those companies, which is probably the largest company right now because they kept the price down and they allow, it's like what happens with Web TV, Apple controls it, so they're very specific who they allow to come through to distribute their, whatever they want to go through, there's a process. Well, Roku, almost anybody can pretty much, you pay your, whatever the fee is, and you're off and running.
So it's like Hulu?
Hulu is distributed through Roku. Is distributed through Smart TV. They're a TV network. that allows you to watch programming through their network. So they got all these channels that are on their station or their network. So you, through Hulu, you can watch ABC, NBC, Channel 4, Channel 2, all these different, all these different stations through their network. Through Roku or through some smart TV or through some like we have at home we have Wii, right? So we're watching Netflix through our Wii. Also pulling up channels because you can type in a URL and you can pull up internet through that. So you need some type of distribution network to get you through. So Roku is the one that I just got a hold of that cost me $79 and I'm watching all kind of stuff. So one of the channels I was watching, this guy was talking about how, oh gosh, I forgot what I was talking about because it took me a whole different direction. It'll come back to me. So anyway, it's a distribution network and that's who we're going to be distributing our TV stations through our network through them, through Google Chromecast and through several different networks. We're going to be channeling our TV station through, our network through, is using them as a distribution network. So anyway, I can't remember, it was good too. Back to the funding. So there's this guy that was on the show, one of the TV channels I was watching. I think it was FoxBusinessNews.com. And so I was watching them, and one of the guys got on there, and he had this concept for some underwear, right? And these underwear were premium underwear, and he went through crowdfunding source to do it. At that time, the most for his category, actually at the time for I can't think of the website off the top of my head, so I think it's crowdfunding.com, I think that's what it's called. At the time, they were looking to say, okay, they needed $30,000, but they said we could start with 10. Well, they ended up getting like $100,000 in crowdfunding. That people saw the concept and saw the idea and invested into this project. So depending on your project, depending on how you package it, Joe Blow person that's looking for small investments, $10, $100, $1,000, whatever the amounts are, all that little money comes up and adds up for you to be able to invest in your business. So crowdfunding is the bomb.
Hello, this is Brian Cochran, and that was a class number 3 talking about how to figure out what your sales strategy is going to be, your sales method, where you're going to place your business and so forth. And we're glad you're excited about starting your own business. Stay tuned for more episodes coming soon. This is Brian Cochran, Biz Help 101. That's BizHelp101.com. We'll talk to you soon. Be blessed. Bye-bye.